Hey Tucson! Welcome to this very first episode of the Tucson Marketplace Podcast. If you hear me say Main Street Tucson Podcast during this episode, that's because it was originally recorded under that name. But I've rebranded to better reflect what this show is about. Sharing the stories, passions, and purpose behind our city's most inspiring local businesses. I'm your host, Abel Alvarez, broadcasting from beautiful Cerrita, Arizona. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a massage so good it didn't just feel nice, but it helped you breathe deeper, sleep better, and even walk without pain? That's what today's guest is all about. Meet Linda Gonzalez, founder of Novum Massage. She's not just offering relaxation, she's delivering real results that change lives. From prenatal care to post-injury recovery, her work helps clients regain mobility, relieve pain, and sometimes even prevent the need for more invasive treatments like surgery. What makes Linda special? Her authenticity, her expertise, and the incredible energy she brings into every session. She's honest, refreshingly real, and fiercely committed to your well-being. You're going to love this conversation because when passion meets purpose, it sounds like this. Let's dive in. Thanks for joining me today, Linda.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Awesome. Quick question. Did you do anything fun this weekend?
I actually spent the weekend up in the White Mountains. I had to get away from the heat. So they had like a summer nights event up there and it was a lot of fun. It was nice to get away. It was still a little warmer than I thought, but it's still cooler than Tucson.
Yeah. Was it still warm? Because I know it's been like 100 and over 100.
Yeah, it was still like 90, which is pretty high up there. But the evenings were gorgeous.
That's wonderful. How many days the entire weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, we had like a little girls trip. So we went for the whole weekend, did fishing, that type of stuff. It was fun.
That's fun. Well, my weekend, I just played basketball with a bunch of other dads. Something that I think I've been enjoying lately. Even though my shoulder, I was just feeling it right now. I know it's been a little sore for the last few days. Might be time for me to take a trip.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's been reminding me that I'm 43 and not 25.
yeah.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and move on to the first part, which
Okay.
is titled Your Story and How It All Began. So, Linda, before Novum Massage became what it is today, what inspired you into massage therapy over 20 years ago?
Yeah. So I get that question asked a lot because I think that when you've been in a career as long as I have, people tend to think that it was like a lifelong dream of yours. Actually, mine was not that way. It was complete divine intervention. I was 18. I was working at Applebee's and I got off of work and I was like, I cannot be a waitress for the rest of my life. I need to figure out what I want to do, but I wasn't necessarily a college academically driven type of person. And so I had literally I was still in my Applebee's uniform. I went down to Apollo College, which is now Carrington College, and it's a vocational program. So, you can be anywhere from a vet tech to a medical assistant to a paralegal, all in under one infrastructure. And I just kind of ran my fingers down the list and I came across massage therapy. And I said, that sounds fun. There was no extended thought process whatsoever. And then the enrollment officer said, would you prefer the certification or the associate's degree? And I immediately chose the associate's degree, not necessarily realizing the depth that would require for me as far as the education goes, but I figured it would give me the upper hand in the industry if I went into the field as an associate with an associate's of massage therapy. So I chose that and I started 3 weeks later. So it was complete divine intervention. It was amazing. And it's been a wonderful career for almost 24 years now.
Wow, that's very interesting. And you also completed more education, right?
Yeah. So I have a bachelor's degree in health and wellness. I have a master's degree in health education. I'm a certified health coach, a certified wellness coach, a certified life coach. I'm a certified CNA caregiver. So all of that has encompassed my career as a massage therapist because you really realize the emotional part of what we do, the mental part of what we do, the spiritual part of what we do. And so all of my other level of education has all been to contribute more to the field that I've already been in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you shared the journey from Applebee's to your associates. How about your masters? I mean, was that a totally different environment?
Well, I did my bachelor's and my master's online. I did the accelerated program with both of them. Even though I'm not necessarily academically driven, it does come easy to me. And so it was interesting because also at that time when I did my bachelor's and my master's, I wasn't sure how much longer I was going to be in the field. As a therapist yourself, you only have so much time that your body will physically manage in this industry. And I was pushing 17 years when I got my bachelor's degree. And so my mindset at that time was that I was going to transition to another field when my body gave out. And I ended up coming across an opportunity to start, which actually previously was iBalance Spa. We were iBalance Spa, and then I restructured to Novum in 2023. And I ended up staying in the field. I've gotten my real estate license. I've gotten a license to sell insurance, and nothing really speaks to my heart the way that massage therapy does. And so this is obviously God's path for me. And I'm embracing that more and more. Even as time goes on, I'm not really settling down and scaling back. I'm ramping up.
Wow, that's very interesting. So the restructuring, does that have to do with you maybe just being on the strategic side of the business or?
Unfortunately, I wish I could say that, but the pandemic took us out. So I balanced spa. I had 5 locations in Tucson. I had about 150 employees, and trying to maintain that volume during the pandemic was extremely challenging. My industry was very compromised by the pandemic. People were not comfortable being in a quiet, room where the therapist is breathing directly on them. I also made a very strong decision to not vaccinate my staff. And so that was very difficult for me because people did not agree with my decision. We come from an industry where your body is designed to heal itself, and we embraced that and leaned into it even during COVID. And so there was a lot of challenges around that. We were shut down by our state board for almost 9 months and because we were considered non-essential. And then I also went through a health crisis myself during that time. And so the encompass of trying to keep it open. So in 2023, I just decided to restructure, and we've actually been transitioning to going to a medical based clinic ever since. So we're about 3 weeks away from being a full blown medical massage clinic. So we can start taking health insurance and different things like that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that as far as what Novum Massage or your projects nowadays look like. But that's wonderful, and I support everything that you've mentioned. I think sometimes it's hard for people to think for ourselves when it comes to decisions like vaccines and all that. Um, so take us back. What was the wellness community in Tucson like when you were starting out?
Oh, I've seen it transition a lot. I think that there was a time 15, 20 years ago where people saw massage as a luxury, something
Yeah.
that they did as a nice treat to themselves. But one of the things for me that I immediately noticed is that clients would come to see me and they would be in a lot of pain. And then I would give them this massage. They'd say that was great, tip me. And then they wouldn't reschedule quickly. It would be a month out, 2 months, 6 weeks. And then when they would come back in, they'd be as much of a mess at that time as they were the 6 weeks prior. And I started to kind of get on this level of like, okay, so if you were to come in more regularly, could we get your pain under control and keep it under control? And that's when I started to introduce a treatment plan and a wellness plan where I would recommend my clients like 4 to 6 weeks. I want to see you once a week for 4 weeks, and then we'll go to every other week, and then every 3 weeks, and then once a month as a maintenance. And as I've educated people and built my brand and my reputation from that foundational approach, I've seen the industry, especially locally, shift where people see it more as self care. They see it more as an integration into their healthcare team. We're part of a chiropractic team or a PT team. I have surgeons that reach out to me. I have physicians that reach out to me. So I've seen it transition, but I've also been a trailblazer in that direction because I value massage so much. And I think it can be life changing in the right environment. And it's not just about a luxury experience. It really is there to help improve your quality of life.
Yeah, definitely. And since you're talking about that, we can go ahead and move on to the second part, which we're going to talk about Novo Massage today. Just one last thing that just came to my mind. Why do you think a lot of people leave this so important part of our personal care down at the bottom of our priority list?
That's a great question. I think that in today's society, we're busy, we're distracted. we're overwhelmed. And I think that it just doesn't become a priority until people wake up and they have a kinky neck or they've had a headache for 3 days or a backache that doesn't go away. I think that because it's an out-of-pocket expense, it's challenging for people in today's, economic climate. That's one of the reasons why we are a medically approved provider. We accept HSA and FSA, and then now we're about to transition to health insurance. So I think that people tend to neglect themselves until their body is screaming.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I need to get in there. So it's about educating and providing a quality service that provides relief so that they actually want to come back and they see the value in that financial investment and the time investment for themselves as well.
Yeah, definitely. It is an investment for sure. All right, great. So Novum Massage today. Your website, it says that it offers, the medical base massage. For someone who's never heard that term before, what does it mean? Is it like a massage with PhD, or what what makes it
So
stand out?
m- my team is a medically approved provider. So they've gone through a medical massage training certification program. We are trained in an environment that manages pain and chronic pain and acute pain and injuries. So we can accept personal injury when somebody's been in a car accident. We work more side by side with physicians and surgeons where people are coming in for more recovery and rehabilitation and not necessarily a relaxation services. Although we have a minimal of services that are fall into that stress management category,
Mhm.
the majority of our clientele are coming in for injury management, pain management, and the rehabilitation. And so for us, that's what that encompasses. And then the fact that we're a medically approved provider, people can now pay for their massages with Blue Cross Blue Shield, TriWest, Carondelet. Those are the providers we're currently accepted in. Will obviously expand as other healthcare companies expand to massage therapy because for the last couple of decades, they've respected the chiropractic industry, physical therapy, but massage has never encompassed that for insurance companies. And they're really starting to transition and expand into that category. And so as other insurance companies get on board, we will also become providers for that. So it gives the clients the opportunity to have somebody else kind of foot that bill as far as the financial cost. But then they're actually being recommended by a physician or healthcare provider that we are in alignment with professionally.
Right, right. And how long ago did the insurance, started making this change or transition?
It's only been this year, actually in
Really?
2025. Yeah, we actually, well, TriWest has been around for a while as far as the veteran affairs.
Mhm.
They do pain management and stuff a lot for the veterans. So they've been a trailblazer just providing for veterans. But Blue Cross Blue Shield actually just expanded this year. And then Carondelet was not far behind them. Blue Cross Blue Shield is a very huge organization. So I anticipate all the other insurance companies are going to follow behind that.
Wow, was that a game changer for the practice? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I cannot tell you how many people, and we haven't fully launched yet. We're about 3 weeks away, but our phone is just ringing off the hook because people are just amazed that they could actually pay for their massages through their health insurance.
And so once the insurance authorizes that, do they reach out to their customers and then also to businesses like yours to let them know?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a coding and a billing platform that provides a verification link that once we have that up and running, we'll have it available on our website. We'll post it on our social media. And then people can immediately click on that link and just go through a verification process to see if they qualify.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's good to know because I did not know, and I have HSA and I have a medical insurance. So, yeah, you never think that it's going to be covered. That's great.
Yeah. It's a big move for our industry and also for my clinic.
I'm happy for you. That's awesome news. That's great.
Thank you.
So your therapist also, your website says that you handpicked them, or they're handpicked. So what do you look for in someone who joins your team?
Initially, I look for their ability to diagnose without necessarily the client explaining what's going on with them. So I'll do a phone interview. It's kind of just a little bit of a phone screening. Get a feel for their personality. We are a smaller clinic because we've restructured. So find out if the hours are doable for them. Find out what their background is in massage, where they're at in the field, because some therapists are burnt out and they're looking for a part-time job. Some therapists are ramping up. So, it's a little bit of a phone conversation and interview. I bring them in for a practical, so everybody gives me a massage. I've been doing this so long that I tell people all the time, even though it's an hour practical, I could tell you in the first 30 seconds whether or not I'm going to hire you just by the way that you touch for
That's
that first moment.
that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I just that have qualities that when they're giving you a massage, that they'll notice inconsistencies in your body that you may not have verbalized yourself. that is a huge indication of a quality therapist that's in tune with the person on their table.
That's a very cool way to hire people, you know? What better way than to put them in a early test, I guess, to show their
Yeah.
skills, and that's great, that's great. But you've got, everything from prenatal to sport massage to cupping. How do people like me and the audience would know what's right for us?
Normally, most people gear towards deep tissue. That's kind of the go-to with a lot of people. So deep tissue is our number one requested modality that we offer. I think people don't always understand the difference between deep tissue and more of a like a medium to firm pressure. I've had lots of people on my table that asked for deep tissue, and then really their bodies were resisting that,
Mhm.
and you had to kind of pull back a little bit. And then you have people that come through the door that have no idea what they need. Not everybody has the ability to have self-awareness within their body, and they'll get on the table and they're like, "I had no idea my neck hurt this bad. I didn't know why my hip was hurting." And so you have to be able to educate people and have a team that's qualified enough to educate your clients in a professional way and not be pushy and over assertive either. You have to create an environment conducive where the client gets on the table and actually immediately feels the benefits, and that's why they're going to want to come back.
That's really cool because maybe, we're thinking that we need something and we actually need something else, and they tell us in a very, cordial, educational way versus the opposite. Sometimes when something breaks at home and they try to sell you other things, it's not really comfortable. So it's great
Yeah.
to know that. It's great to know that. All right, real quick. If you're a local business owner in Tucson, Green Valley, Sarita, or nearby and want to be featured on this podcast, or maybe your friend, cousin, or old high school buddy runs a cool business that deserves a little spotlight, send them my way. Being on the show means more eyeballs, more ears, and let's be honest, it's just plain fun to talk about your passion and get your story out there. Text me at 520-289-6672 and no pressure. I promise I won't be like the mall lotion guy. The one you avoid eye contact with at Park Place. Just kidding, of course. Much respect to those folks. They work really hard and sell some really good stuff. Anyways, send them my way and let's make Pima County's small business scene louder, prouder, and a little more fun. All right, let's if you like, let's move into client experiences.
Okay.
We want to know what are people saying, what kind of impact is Novum Massage making in their lives. So, would you be able to share a story that really maybe stuck with you? Someone who came in struggling and left change, a story that maybe made you say, "Yep, this is why I'm doing this kind of stuff." Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we could spend an entire day going through those stories because it's every single day, to be honest with you. We
Really?
have people that come through our door. I have a client that one of my therapists is currently working on. She's traveled all over the world looking for relief for neuropathy that she actually developed from a COVID vaccine. And so she comes in 3 times a week. She has reflexology done. And she has said in about 10 sessions, she's had more relief with us than she has anywhere else in the country that she has gone to. That is huge for us. We have people that have had surgeries, they've gone through PT, they've done all kinds of different Eastern and Western medicine approach to healing. And then within 6 to 8 sessions, they come through our clinic and they're 100% better. If their pain level's a 10, we can bring it down to a 2 or 3 and keep it manageable. We have clients that come in that have severe fibromyalgia, which is a medical condition that's still kind of a little bit unknown in our industry because they don't really know exactly where it comes from, but it creates a lot of pain. We have people that come in that think we cannot help them. They've had 8 surgeries. I worked on somebody 3 weeks ago that his sciatic nerve had been nicked during one of his back surgeries, and he has not been able to have any relief. And we were able to get his pain from a 10 down to a 5. 5 is not ideal, but it's way better than a 10. And so,
Right.
just getting people to be able to manage themselves so that they can still have somewhat of a quality of life, even if they're not 100% pain free. We have veterans that come through the door that have been in combat. They've got hardware in their body, they've got shrapnel in their body, they've got different injuries. And that's just something that we focus on. Our goal is to improve the quality of life long term and not just for the 60 minutes that somebody is on our table. So we're 100% results driven. We get to the root of the problem. Just because somebody comes in and says, I want my neck worked on, it may not just be their neck. We'll encompass the lower back and educate the client on that, why we did things like that. So every day we get somebody through our door that we have made a huge difference in their life. And when you can remove physical pain, it also lifts mental pain and emotional pain because it all comes together when
Yeah.
you're living in chronic pain. It compromises all aspects of your stability in life. And I've seen people cry coming out of a massage. I've had people cry on my table coming from a massage. That is the most rewarding thing that we do on a daily basis is just provide relief for people.
That's wonderful. My aunt suffers from that trigeminal neuralgia, so that chronic pain, and she had surgery not too long ago. Do you see any patients like that?
Yeah, we do.
And what kind of approach do they usually get people that suffer from that?
It's usually about 4 to 6 sessions pretty consistently, at least once a week, in bringing the inflammation down in the body, improving blood flow, oxygen, and circulation, and it can help improve the healing process. So it's pretty powerful. But a lot of people don't realize 1 or 2 massages is not going to provide a significant amount of relief. It's the initial consistency, providing pressure that the body can respond to and is not counterproductive, create an environment where the client can actually physically relax and be comfortable. Those are all the things that we approach when we're dealing with somebody with a medical condition like that.
And what kind of consistency is ideal? How many times a month or a
If
week?
you're coming in with chronic pain, we would always recommend once a week for a month. Just you get those 4 sessions in. It usually gives my therapist the first 1 or 2 to kind of really assess what's going on with the body. And then the third or fourth session is where they really start to dig in and peel back those layers. If the client has not received relief by the 4 session, then we'll continue. But 9 out of 10 times they've received some level of relief, which is an indication that the body's responding positively to the work that we're doing. Sometimes after those 4 sessions, the client has received so much relief that they continue weekly for a little bit longer. And sometimes then they start to scale back to every 2 weeks. Ideally, our goal is to not keep you coming in every single week. That's a time constraint. That's a financial burden. It can be over time. It's to get you in, provide a relief that improves your condition, but also keep you on a maintenance. So a lot of people think that once a week is really extreme. It's actually not when you're addressing somebody who's been in pain for multiple decades.
Oh, yeah, and everything that they've gone through for years and years. I mean, I'm sure all their family members are aware and suffer with them.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's incredible. And you're open 7 days a
we
week?
are. Yeah.
Wow, that's rare. When most people are probably clocking out, you guys are just getting started, huh?
We
Uh,
are. As we've transitioned to medical, I've considered more medical hours, and that, but I haven't made the decision to transition to that yet fully because even though you don't necessarily have everybody coming through the door that has pain, we have the working class. They need to come in at 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, or they can only come in on the weekends. And so it's a little bit of a hindrance to limit our hours to medical hours when we provide a service that is valuable to everybody. But I may eventually transition into that. But currently, we're still open 7 days a week.
oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a great thing for our listeners, just knowing that you're there 7 days a week. Especially if they're anything like me, trying to keep up with work, family, hobbies, and everything else life throws at you. It gives you that peace of mind that you guys are there. That's great. So your membership, you still offer the membership? I mean, the perks are pretty amazing.
They
With
were. Actually, we don't currently offer the membership. It was a little challenging to get it off the ground. And then as I made the decision to transition to medical, it was not going to be in alignment with that business model. So we actually removed the membership in February of this year. And it was never really my goal to offer a membership because a lot of my competitors do. And I've always strived to separate myself from my competitors. But
good.
when you've gone through such a challenging time that we've been in the industry, as a business owner, you will try anything to make sure that you stay relevant and keep the doors open. So it was also just kind of another aspect of me trying to create another revenue stream. But if it's not working, I'm not going to bang my head against the wall. And it didn't work for my platform and my business model. So we removed it.
Well, that's wonderful you mentioned that because I just saw last week a talk from the founder of PayPal. It's called "Competition is for Losers." I mean, it's life changing. It's
Yeah.
it's like an hour. It's so interesting, and it's not what people think. It's for the
Yeah.
for the better of the clients, the community, and the businesses. It's not negative at all.
I don't really engage and follow my competition too much. I mean, you would think I would. Where my clinic is, I have 17 competitors in a 3-mile radius. And the normal person might think, oh my gosh, but I don't think that way at all because I know what we offer. I know the brand and the reputation that we have. And so it's almost irrelevant to me. I just know that we have such a phenomenal team and what we provide to our clients. And when you know that at your core, competition just doesn't matter.
See, that this is why I do this podcast, because I get to talk to people like you who think competition is for losers, who think, I'm not going to follow anybody. They're going to follow
Yeah,
me. I'm not going to price myself because other people around me are pricing at that. I'm doing it because your own initiatives, your own value as a company, as a team. So that's wonderful.
thank
Yeah,
you.
this morning cannot get any better. So
Thanks.
thank you. Um, so let's get into Tucson, what local life looks like for you. So you've been part of Tucson wellness scene for a long time. What makes this city special for you?
I think that we do have a pretty good retirement environment here where you have kind of people that are 65 and older that you can build an environment that provides health and wellness for that genre of people. But I learned as we've expanded, when people are dealing with pain, that's not gender specific. You have people in their 20s that have pain. You have people in your 80s that have pain. So I've really just kind of created an environment that's safe and comfortable for people, regardless of their age. But wellness has always been, I've also practiced it myself, which I think is important to be a leader in this type of industry is you can't promote it and not also practice it yourself. I also am very much, I create a work life environment for my staff.
Hmm.
My staff only works 24 hours a week. They only do 5-hour shifts. And so it's important for me to create an environment where therapists feel like they're not overworked or underpaid, because that will be a reflection in the client experience. If you have people that are doing 8 to 10 massages a day and they're not happy with their compensation, that will reflect in the experience they provide for our clients. And so I look at all of that. I do look at the wellness industry and what other people are doing. Lymphatic drainage is something that's become really popular. Cupping is something that we integrated in. So cryotherapy is also another modality. So I will see different trends and I will evaluate whether or not they're a good fit for my clinic and the true value of how it's going to provide for a client results long term.
Well, I can't even imagine how those interviews are going to go if you add something like that.
Yeah,
You're going to put them to the test right there. That's great.
absolutely.
All right. Um, so what's the best part, as a business owner about running your business here in Tucson and serving the community? If for those people maybe that, are more entrepreneurial focused.
I mean, it's not easy. I don't care what industry you come in. Being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner is very, very challenging, but it's rewarding. I get up every day knowing that number
Yeah.
one, if you're providing a job for members of the community, I have 9 single parents that work for me. I was a single parent myself, so I do take a lot of pride in that, being able to provide an income for somebody that doesn't have the flexibility of a 9 to 5 job because they're a single parent. And then, just it's important to me to create a place where it's not just comfortable for the client, but it's also a good place for employees to work.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're definitely created something very special here in Tucson. And to that point, how do you feel knowing that so many people trust you, um, whether, they're recovering from injury, managing pain, they're pregnant, or simply just overwhelmed?
We take that very seriously. Consumer trust is top of mind with everything. As I'm a very hands-on owner operator, I'll go into the treatment rooms, I'll lay on the table like as if I'm a client. I will assess the environment, I will assess the room temperature, the comfortability of the bed, the ease of people getting out of our clinic, the ease of people finding our clinic, to make sure that people understand the service we provide. So the client experience is something that I'm always evaluating and making sure that we're providing something that is easy and affordable, but also quality.
It reminded me of the book that the founder of Ritz Carlton wrote, which is Excellence Wins. It's a great breed in regards to customer service and trust.
Yeah. We take it very seriously. You have people that are fragile, vulnerable, and you can't take that lightly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our next part has to do with the invite, inviting the listeners to come visit you. How can they experience Novum for themselves?
So we offer a new client special. It's $30 off a 90-minute massage. 90 minutes is pretty standard. I'd say probably about 95% of our clients prefer a 90-minute. So we always offer a new client special. We've got a couple of packages that we run. We've got like a summer sale that we're running right now. to get people through the door. I always try to give, especially new clients, the opportunity to have their first 4 to 6 sessions discounted so that they can evaluate whether or not the financial investment is worth their time as well. So that's something that we open up to the community often.
Hmm.
We've done packages over the years. We don't do packages as often as now as we transition to medical. But for anybody to come through our door, we feed our reviews online. So I think we get a lot of calls where people say, I only chose you because I read your reviews. And so we do encourage that a lot for our clients is if you had a great experience, please tell the community about it because other people will read those reviews. And that's how we get a lot of our clients through the door because we've created that trust and that value. And then also, financially, we give a little bit of a discount to get some people that, just want to try us. We have people that are like, I don't know what you're about, especially because we're a medical based clinic. It's just kind of like you said in the beginning, it's a new term. I am personally trailblazing that term as much as I can on a local level. And people sometimes just have no idea what that's about and they just want to try us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if they just need a treat, right? I mean, it doesn't have to do with neck tension, recovery from an injury,
Exactly.
surgery.
They just could have had a
Yeah.
rough day and it's like, I need to go get a massage and reset myself. And that's great too. We welcome all of those clients.
And there's something powerful about taking that first small step. I know for me, that's how it happened. But I did the same thing. I went to the chiropractor and probably 3 sessions, and I should have, I need that consistency. Why do you think it's sometimes so hard to give ourselves permission to take a break?
I think that we neglect ourselves. I think that we get busy. I think we get caught up in life. I think that as women, we tend to get in that caregiver role as wives and mothers, and we put everybody before ourselves. We see that a lot with our female clientele. I think with men, they get very busy being a provider of a household, building their careers, building their professions. And I don't know that it's always top of mind for people to say, "Oh, I'm gonna put a massage in on a regular basis." People usually come in because they're in pain, and they usually come back because we provide a relief. So,
Yeah.
it's not like, most people wake up every day and think that massage is gonna be a part of their everyday regimen or their monthly healthcare routine. You have to get people to understand the value in that, and the only way you can do that is provide the value.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you want to invite the audience again to come visit you. If you want to share your phone number, your website, how do they most commonly reach out to you guys? Is it they come and visit or they call you?
Yeah, so we don't have our location is not conducive for walk-in traffic. We're on Oracle Road between Ida and Orange Grove. Most of our clients book online. It's pretty easy. They can call if for some reason they don't navigate the website well. We are having a new website built as we transition to medical because we have to integrate that content.
Hmm.
But they can just go to novummassage.com and they can choose our new client special. They can book right there online. They have to create an account in order to be able to book with us or they can call. It's 809-6955. They can reach out to us on social media. We respond in a lot of different platforms as well. Google My Business. We get messages from Yelp. They can go to our website and message me. So there's a lot of different ways clients can contact us.
That's wonderful. There you have it. The best way would be to go online and register and make that appointment. Anything else that maybe I didn't ask, I should have asked that you want to share with
Um,
us?
Let me think about that. No, I think we covered a lot of topics. I appreciate the opportunity. I think you need to get in to see us and get that shoulder worked on.
Yeah, for sure. So, Linda, thank you so much for sharing your story today. And for anyone listening, you've been feeling like maybe it's time to do something good for your body and your mind. Now it's the time to visit Novum Massage and treat yourself. So remember to support local, support wellness, and I'll see you next time right here on Main Street, Tucson.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for our very first episode of Tucson Marketplace Podcast. Big thanks to Linda Gonzalez from Novum Massage for sharing her wisdom, warmth, and story. She's proof that when a business is built with love and skill, people notice and they keep coming back. Honestly, after chatting with her, I'm thinking about booking a massage myself, maybe to finally recover from my sore shoulder and get back to my imaginary NBA career. If you're feeling stressed, sore, or just overdue for some serious self-care, do yourself a favor and head over to novummassage.com. That's NOV as in Victor, UM massage.com for your appointment. And here's the best part. If you're a new client, you get $30 off a 90-minute massage. That's basically like getting paid to relax. Okay, maybe not exactly, but it's pretty close. And if you're already a client at Novum, Linda's got you covered as well with some awesome summer bundle deals because loyal clients deserve to be spoiled. Her website makes booking nice and simple. Just click book now and you'll see all the specials, the list of services and their prices. Whether it's a 60-minute tune-up, a deep 90-minute unwind, prenatal massage, or grabbing a gift card for your favorite stressed out friend or family member. So don't wait. Go to novummassage.com, book your session, grab a gift card, or find the perfect special to treat yourself and someone you love. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe, drop a quick review, or share it with a friend or neighbor who could use some feel-good vibes. Thanks for listening.